Hello everyone, you know who this is, right? Anders with Mind the Shift. I think you should talk about what's at the forefront of your mind. So today I'm going to talk about love, falling in love and being in love. But first a little follow-up on something I talked about in a video a few weeks ago, where I had this tongue-in-cheek epiphany that I was going to solve the energy problems of the world. Well, to make a long story short, what I was talking about was that I believe that in the future we have to get away from the idea that that energy is something that is produced in big works in certain places, and this energy is then distributed by way of enormous power lines to other places where this energy is being consumed and being used by different entities, houses, cars, transportation, food production, whatever. So, and instead I think that every entity that needs energy will have to produce it locally by itself. That would be a huge improvement, including actually human beings, if we look very, very far into the future. I think that's going to happen, but that's esoteric really, so we won't go there. But what I was going to say now is that, well, apart from there being very promising tests and research on cars producing their own energy, their own electricity while going, for instance, by having bodies that include batteries or solar panels, so they generate power as they go and don't need to refill, so to speak. And now I just read the other day that scientists in Western Sweden at a technical university called Chalmers have invented a battery made out of cement. How about that? It's less powerful than ordinary batteries, but still the fact that it's made out of cement makes it possible for it to be included in building materials. So the idea being that in the not so distant future we can be able to build houses, construct houses that have these batteries included in their walls, in their roofs, in their ceilings. How about that? I think it's incredible, which means that these houses will be able to harness the omnipresent energy. That was exactly what I was talking about. I think it's wonderful. Speaking of omnipresent energy, what is it with us human beings and being in love? I mean, what's happening? We're in love with somebody. It's like that other person totally invades our own being. You know what I'm talking about. It's like they're occupying the very essence of you, and you can't stop thinking about this person. Or yeah, well, even if you try to not to do it, it pops up. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about, or almost everyone has been in this situation. I think this experience is the one that most shakes the materialist worldview. It's very difficult to explain what's happening within you when you're in love, and because it's not rational at all. If we're, biological machines, we would not engage in that kind of very irrational behavior and actually self-destructive behavior, because we get very, very poor at performing our everyday chores when we're in that state, as many of you know. And as a matter of fact, we oftentimes want out of it. I mean, as wonderful as it is for the most part, it's also very painful because as I say, we become this bad at living our ordinary materialist lives in this 3D world. So what's happening, I think, is that other person's energy and your energy are entangled. That's what's happening, because we're living in a unified field and the energies are entangled. So it confuses both of your lives in that situation. But the beautiful part is, of course, that when this goes both ways, when it's reciprocal, both people have the exact same feelings for each other, and love is reciprocal, and you enter this wonderful state of what the wonderful Dr. Bruce Lipton calls the honeymoon effect, then it's heaven, of course. And when Lipton talks about this honeymoon effect, it's very interesting, because he comes to the conclusion, which is, I mean, it's just the truth, really. When you're in that state, you stop thinking, you stop living in the future and the past, which is the reason behind most human suffering, actually, wanting to be in a place in the future which you believe will be better than the place that you're at now, or thinking about some past moment which you also think was better than the place you're at right now. So you're not living, actually, you're living in a kind of dream world. You're not present, you're not in the now. But when you're in that honeymoon state, you are completely present. You don't think about the future, you don't think about the past, because everything you've always wanted is right in front of your nose. It's right in front of you, it's right there. And then you wake up, in a way, and you live your life as it's supposed to be lived. You see things as they are. You see the beauty of the trees. You see the beauty of the sky. You see the beauty of everything and the other people around you. And you see no harm in anybody. And Lipton wants us to try and stay in that state. It's difficult. It's not going to happen next week, I know. But I think it's something to strive for, because, well, I mean, we're human. We're going to fall back into negative thinking and misery thoughts and all that, because that's who we are. But we can always try to do this. We can strive for this, because if we can stay in that state, infatuation fades. That honeymoon state in this human life will eventually end and become something different. Hopefully deep love for the other person. But that honeymoon state will eventually fade. But if you can stay in love with life, that's what you can strive for. If you can do that, then you will actually truly live. You will wake up, you will see life for what it is, you will see things as they truly are. And if we could harness that kind of energy, the energy that this kind of love, or all love, generates, man, we wouldn't even need to eat, I think. Have a wonderful weekend now, everyone. Bye-bye.